I bet you have never heard of this camera and film format. This is an instant camera that predates Instax. Heck, this isn't even the original film. There was something before it. I present to you the Fotorama 800AF. Just ignore that this says 800S. We'll get into that in just a second. But this camera comes courtesy of Wesley. Yes, one of you. He sent this camera over for me to do this video, which was super awesome. We're gonna learn the history of it, how you can even possibly get one of these, and then we're gonna head on out and shoot with it.
You know the type of guy that was a jock in high school but ended up becoming a huge nerd? You know, someone that's not afraid to make a fool of themselves on the internet. And someone that likes to shoot Polaroid a little too much. Did I say huge nerd? You know, just an ordinary, everyday guy. Well, that's me. I'm just another Chris. Before we head out and shoot with this camera, I want to take a moment and talk about the history. What even is this thing? Where'd it come from? Have you heard of it? I hadn't until last year, or in 2024, at Policon, San Francisco Bay Area, when somebody walked up to me with a camera I had never seen before, snapped my picture, handed me the photo, and then it just disappeared. It happened so fast, I couldn't ask him any questions. But he handed me this photo, and I had never seen this format before, ever. So I did some research and found that there was something called ACE film. Then I kind of shelved the project because, one, I didn't have a camera. Until now, someone sent me this camera and I wanted to do more history of this, dive a little deeper. So let's take a look. So believe it or not, Fuji has been making instant film since the early 80s. And I'm not talking pack film, because they brought that out in the 80s as well. They started doing instant, like integral film in the early 80s. However, it was only really introduced in Japan. There was no real US-based distribution of the film. Fotorama 800 series and this film isn't even the first iteration. Their first like integral Polaroid style camera, which they called the F series, the FI-10. And it actually shot ISO 160 film, just like SX70 film. It was Fuji's answer to Polaroid film. That film was discontinued in the mid-90s. Then their second film release was the Fotorama 800 series, and they came out with two cameras for that release in 1984. The 800AF and the 800S, which one is autofocus, one is manual focus. More on that coming up. Then the third film they released was the ACE film, which came out in the mid-90s, which is the photo that I had taken of me, which this stuff is pretty cool. It still works, and this stuff's like 30 years old, but they eventually got rid of the film altogether in, I think, 2010, if I remember correctly. But again, it wasn't distributed really anywhere other than Japan. But here's something kind of crazy. They were doing Instax film during the same time as the ACE film. Here's a little something fascinating that I discovered while researching this. With Instax film, they were going to release it here in the US, but Polaroid was still, here and doing really well. They partnered up with Fuji to create that Polaroid Mio or Mio camera. I still don't know the correct pronunciation of that thing, but it kind of bombed. It didn't do really well. So only after I think 2 years, Polaroid discontinued that product and stopped working with Fuji altogether. But here's the wild part. Instax didn't return to the US until 2008. Crazy. But anyway, I just thought that was kind of interesting. So here's the best part. They don't make film for this camera at all. It is long dead. But that's not the best part. The best part is you can actually get an adapter that shoots Instax square film inside this camera. Yes, for Fotorama cameras, you can actually get one from Analogy Panda or Kenneth Panda over on Instagram, which I'll leave a link to him in the description below, and maybe he can hook you up with one of these adapters, which I hope he can also hook me up with one of these adapters, because I would love to purchase one. I don't get to keep this, and I really like shooting with this and would love to continue to shoot with this. But if you want to get one, reach out to him. I'm not affiliated with him whatsoever. I haven't even talked to him as of right now. I sent him a message, but he hasn't messaged me back yet, probably because he's located in Hong Kong. Let's go back to the camera really quick before we head on out and shoot with this thing. This is the 800AF. It has autofocus via not sonar, but LiDAR. That's pretty sweet. The wild part is it took nearly, 40 years for us to see LiDAR tech inside another instant camera. And I'm talking about the Polaroid i2. Fuji was already doing it in the 80s. Crazy. And speaking of the focus, the range on here says 0.8 meters to infinity.
And it has a 105mm lens on here. I'm not sure the aperture range, but it does have a self timer and ability to turn the flash on and off, but not necessarily off. You actually have to slide the slider down and hold it as you take the picture. So you can't actually do a self timer without a flash. It will go off every time. It does have a tripod mount on the bottom though. And the way it works is you flip it up like so, and it will automatically charge the flash and you just take your photo. And that's basically it. So enough rambling. Why don't we go out outside and shoot with this thing? Let's go. Well, I already did it. So let's go back in time. Cue Wayne's World's flashback scene. All right, I'm back at a familiar spot. There it is. Because I want to do a side-by-side comparison with the Fotorama. I keep calling it the Photomatic. I want to do a comparison with my SQ6, which I believe I have a photo of this. I'm pretty sure. I know I have it on multiple other formats like wide and Polaroid, but I wanted to do a comparison side by side just for kicks, see what we can get. But now I'm questioning if I actually have it on my SQ6. Oh well, we're here. We're gonna take a picture.
I, in fact, have not shot this with a SQ6 or even the Lomo Instant Square. So here's some other random photos I have of it though, just for fun, I guess.
I knew it. I knew it. It was out of film. And I brought some film. Thing is though, it's a mystery film. I don't know what it is, but it expires in 1 month. So we're gonna find out. It could be black and white, it could be black frame, it could be sparkle frame, or color film. That's all I got. But this is the first time I get to actually load it. So I'm actually really excited to see what it actually looks like with this adapter. Oh, that's it. Oh, interesting. Okay. I was wondering how that worked. So it slides in from the top, like that. Just a little piece. That has the ejection mechanism built into the side. Interesting. That's pretty cool. All right, in the comments, let me know what you think this film's gonna be. I'm hoping it's color film. There's a chance it might be just black and white. Someone had given me a pack of theirs like a year ago, and it's been sitting in my fridge. It's possible it's this. We're gonna find out. To load it, you just slide it in, just like that. Pretty easy. Oh, there we go. Never done it before. All right, let's go shoot this for real now. Sweet. All right, we got it. Gotta love Instax. Just shot it a couple seconds ago. Boom, can already start to see the photo. I want to wait to take another one of that. I want to check framing. I wasn't sure how to line this up in the viewfinder since we lose a little bit of the left and the right side and a little bit of the top. So I wanted to check framing. And best part, it was color film. Even though I was kind of secretly hoping it was black and white. I've never actually shot black and white on Instax.
The next day.
I actually have a meeting over here at, well, you can't really see him, at Blue Moon Camera, but the person I need to talk to, I guess, won't be here for like half an hour. So let's shoot more with this guy. This has been pretty fun to shoot with. I kind of don't want to give it back, but I will. I am having some trouble getting this framed up right. I've gotten some good ones. I've gotten some that are pretty far off. So definitely gonna take a little bit of practice to like dial it in. I have a feeling it's just because of that adapter. I just need to figure out how I need to compensate. I had some trouble with the framing of this camera because the photo is, you know, much smaller for the adapter inside this camera, and getting it centered up for your shot can be a little tricky. Now, one of the things that I really want to ask Kenneth, and hopefully I'll be able to include this in the video before I get this done and uploaded, but inside the viewfinder, he has his initials in there. It says KP, and there is a little bit of a dashed lines in the frame. And I wonder if he added that as a guideline for framing. So hopefully I'll be able to ask him and clarify that question. So after I've already shot this video and everything, I heard back from Kenneth. And here's what he had to say.
The Fotorama cameras have a high quality of image, extremely sharp, and that's because almost all of them are glass lenses. I did not know that, and I didn't see that in any of my researches, mostly probably because who's using these cameras today? They're a defunct film format. He continues with, however, the adapter for the Fotorama of Instax Square is just to provide a stable environment for film ejection. Any Fotorama cameras without rollers modified to take Instax film, the film developer will not go through the whole film and the top corners will be missing. So basically, if you don't have him modify the camera rollers, probably because of the thickness of the film, you're not going to get an even spread of the film. I did not know that this camera had been modified by Kenneth. So the adapter is only part of this project. It needs roller modification, light meter adjustment, lens cleaning, infinity focus needs adjusting too. So it's not perfect right out of the box. The price for the adapter is 850 Hong Kong dollars, plus 70 Hong Kong dollars shipping, which I did the math, the conversion, I think is around 115, 120 US dollars after everything. Which I did go on to ask him about the viewfinder if that was modified as well, and it is. It's his own design. He also included a photo of what the original one looked like, because I was curious about that. Now here is the major catch. Only for us people in the US. Due to the overlord of our leader Donald Trump, he has the tariffs and trade wars going on right now, especially with China, which Kenneth is based out of. And currently at the date of the recording of this video, China is stopping imports and exports directly to the US. So if you want to work with Kenneth, pretty much going to be anyone outside of the US currently. Because not only is the imports and exports stopping, the postal service over there will not ship to the US and also stop shipment from coming in to China. That takes place on like April 27th or something like that. Now, it could change in the future, which eventually it will, just how it will work out, but that's uncertain at the moment. Now, I'm sure there could be some loopholes that you could do, but that's going to be up to you and him to figure out. If he wants to ship to somebody you might know somewhere else in the world and then have them ship to you and you want to pay all of the shipping costs, then that could work if you're willing to do it. That's going to be up to you and Kenneth. Now we're gonna head back out and shoot some more photos, but of course, this was before I knew some of the information. So I kind of talk about the framing a little bit because I was still kind of figuring that out. But let's get back to our regular scheduled programming.
Once I learned just to shoot kind of in the middle of that dashed square, I was getting much better results. But not every shot was coming out the way I hoped, but I wasn't using any exposure compensation on these, and I could have dialed in these a little bit better, which I do coming up. I wanted this shot. I knew it was going to be kind of a waste, and yeah, it was just a little too far away. Now this spot has haunted me. I've never gotten a really good picture here, and I finally got one. It's awesome. Shot a second one too, and yeah, this is the best photo I've ever gotten in this place. One more photo in this, so I shot that apartment complex, and it's pretty good. It's not the best. I still haven't gotten a great picture of this, but after that, it was time to reload and walk around and shoot some more photos. Saw this, and yeah, I absolutely had to take a picture of this. It's just so random, and I love it. Wow. I used exposure comp on the last 3, 4, all the way down. Dang, they look really good. Wow, they're still developing. It might be too dark. So far, they look pretty good. Yeah, this shot is killer. Probably the best photo I've taken with this camera. This one has its charm. It's not bad, but I like it. This one's, I don't know, it doesn't really do it for me. But yeah, these were all with exposure compensation set to -2. Well, 2 clicks. I'm not sure how this one actually meters, if it's a half for 1 click and a full stop for the second click. But either way, I use the second click. Now, if you remember, I said they released 2 cameras when they released this film. This is the first camera they introduced with the film. There is another one, and that is the Fotorama 800S. Yes, I purchased this one on eBay. This one is a manual focus camera, but it don't work. The people that sold it to me failed to mention that the battery compartment had batteries exploded in it, and I've tried to clean it up and get it to work with no success. I did get my money back though, so I'm gonna still mess with it and see if I can get it to work, because I want to get one of those adapters so bad and shoot with this, considering I have to give this camera back. So I got this, and I did notice there is no framing. guidelines in this camera whatsoever. It's just an open lens. Yeah, sadly, I don't have the camera anymore. I did give it back to Wesley because I got to meet him in person at my first ever instant photo walk. The totally awesome instant photo walk, to be exact, this past weekend, which was so much fun. So thank you again, Wesley, for making this video possible. I was really hoping I was going to be able to get this camera going, but learning that I would have to essentially send this off to have all the work done and then buy the adapter, which isn't necessarily a problem, it's just the trade war stuff going on. It might not be feasible at the moment. Of course, the future will change that, but we just have to sit and wait and find out. Man, who knew 1 year later, pretty much to the day, after this was taken of me, I was able to track down a couple cameras and shoot with one of them. Oh, that is so cool. Not to mention this is the original film that still works. How amazing is that? But the photos I got out of 800 AF with the Instax square, I gotta say, it's pretty dang impressive. I think my favorite photo I shot with this has to be the Signal gasoline or the Signal pizza place, that round sign. I am just in love with this picture. It is amazing, and it was pretty much in direct harsh sunlight, and it did really well. Once you kind of learn the framing of this, you can get some awesome shots. I think I also took the best photo of the wishing well neon sign. I've tried this so many times and I've never been truly successful, but with this camera, I think I got the best photo I've ever taken. Really cool. Hopefully I'll be able to return to this format or camera in the future. But do you guys have some weird film format cameras that you're rocking? Let me know in the comments below. I want to learn about it. I love learning this stuff. And do you have a weird camera that you may want to see in a future video that you want to send for a loaner? Oh, there's a PO box in the description. I will love you forever if you do that. I love sharing this type of stuff, so stay tuned for more history and uses of weird, strange, defunct cameras. But until then, get out there, make some art.